Get ready for Matura 8. Exercise 2.
When the National Consumer Council recently investigated rip-off mineral water in restaurants, it found 1 in 5 people slightly nervous or too scared to ask for tap water. Britons consume 3 billion litres of bottled water a year. Most bottled water is siphoned into plastic bottles, and of 13 billion plastic bottles sold in the UK last year, just 3 billion were recycled. As recycling rates remain dismally low, making bottles requires raw materials, namely oil. It takes 162 grams of oil and 7 litres of water, including power plant cooling water, just to manufacture a 1 litre bottle, creating over 100 grams of greenhouse gas emissions per empty bottle. To make the 29 billion plastic bottles used annually in the US, the world's biggest consumer of bottled water, requires more than 17 million barrels of oil a year, enough to fuel more than 1 million cars for a year. What happens to our enormous pile of empties? The answer isn't encouraging. Most are buried underground. Americans throw 30 million water bottles into landfill every day, or, in the UK, increasingly incinerated, where only a tiny proportion of their energy value can be recovered. The rest becomes environmental pollution, particularly in the ocean, where, as the plastic slowly fragments, it poses a serious threat to wildlife. Later this year, environmental campaigner David de Rothschild will set off across the Pacific Ocean in a boat made from waste water bottles, highlighting the impact of such consumer dependencies. His voyage will take him through the Eastern Garbage Patch, the rubbish-strewn region which comprises hundreds of kilometres of the northern Pacific. It was first encountered by researchers in 1999 and contains billions of pieces of plastic, almost all of it less than a few millimetres across. The bottled water industry will find it increasingly hard to write off water bottle pollution as a merely aesthetic issue. The research nets appear to be closing in. Scientists have now tracked plastic particles smaller than a human hair to 20 microns and found 9 different polymers consistent with water bottles all over the UK and further afield as well. The footprint doesn't end there. Globally, nearly a quarter of all bottled water crosses national borders to reach consumers. The journey of bottled water normally includes boat, train and truck, journeys that can still rack up considerable distances and ensuing carbon emissions. In 2004, for example, Nord Water of Finland bottled and shipped 1.4 million bottles of Finnish tap water 4,300 kilometres from its bottling plant in Helsinki to Saudi Arabia. Fiji Water, a particularly potent symbol of excess, according to campaigners, which can apparently trace its origins to rainfall more than 400 years ago in the Fijian mountains, makes a journey of 16,000 kilometres to get to UK supermarket shelves. But there are signs that the tide is turning. When Arthur Potts Dawson, the chef behind London's Acorn House, launched his new restaurant Waterhouse last week, there wasn't a bottle of water in sight. He won't supply bottled water, even if customers beg for it. Instead, he's installed a top-of-the-range filtration system for which diners will be charged a small cover charge. Just imagine how much traffic will be taken off the road by not ferrying all that water about. Continue in this vein, and the fact that Claridge's has a 32-strong mineral water menu and that you routinely see 40 brands of water on the shelves of a medium-sized supermarket will start to look ridiculous. In the near future, those who carry a pristine water bottle could look like bad citizens.